is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
Be there, there, be there. Yep. Be there, be there.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Oh, man. Oh, there we go. Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. All right, baby, we are back. We got some breaking news. The Miami Dolphins have made a move. They now have a backup quarterback in Mike White, the former New York Jet, the Pembroke Pines native. Is now a Miami Dolphin. He'll be the Dolphins backup quarterback for 2 years, $16 million. Last year, just to kind of give you the stats, they went down for Mike White. In 2021, he had 132 attempts, completed 88, 66% of them, which is very good. 5 touchdowns, but 8 interceptions, okay? Yeah, 66% is good, but the 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, not a good ratio, ladies and gentlemen. 953 yards. That's 3 games. This year he played 4 games, went 1-3, completed 103 of 175 passes for 58.9%. So his percentage went down from 66.7 to 58.9. That's a huge drop. He threw for almost 1,200 yards, 1,192 instead of 953, but he played 4 games, and he threw 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So in his career, he's thrown 8 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's completed 62% of his passes. He's a decent backup quarterback. Let me, when they signed this right away, this is what I thought of, and let me All right, let me be honest here, right? You know, that's what we do on this show, right? We give you the brutal honesty on all of this. Okay, do you want to have all the bells and whistles on defense and on offense? Do you want to possibly go out and go get a Bobby Wagner? Do you possibly want to the top linebackers or maybe Porter or whatever, Poyer, I'm sorry, or any other top free agents, and you want to re-sign Wilkins, you want to sign Sealer? This is what this tells me, okay? Nothing against Mike White. He's a nice player. He's a perfect backup. Okay. Skyler might be able to beat him out, quite frankly. This might be one hell of a battle between these two. This is what it told me. They went shopping in the dollar store. I'm sorry. Okay. They could have gone to Kmart and could have gone to get a Gardner Minshew or could have gone an Andy Dalton. But instead of $8 million a year, that's probably going to cost you more to 11 and 12. That's probably what they're going to sign. They're going to sign for double digits because they have more experience. They're better quarterbacks overall right now. Mike White has upside, but so far through 2 years, it's not really that impressive, to be quite honest with you. You can't throw 8 touchdowns and have 12 interceptions in 2 years. That doesn't fly. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So let's just, let's pump the brakes. Now he's a nice backup. Okay? They've got great weapons. They've got a line. Hopefully they'll fix they got 2 positions that are kind of iffy. They've got to work on that, and hopefully the running game will be, settled down. But White, this is the other thing too. When you get to the backup quarterback, your season's over. Okay. I like Gardner Minshew. It's my favorite backup quarterback that was available. I would probably want Gardner Minshew in this system. Okay. But he's going to cost you a little bit more money because he's a bad starter. Let's be honest now. In 32 quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew and Andy Dalton are fighting to be the back end of in the league because that's how this league is. They don't have 32 of them. So somebody's got to start Andy Dalton and somebody's got to start Gardner Minshew. You know what I'm saying? Now, as backups, they are exceptional backups, but it's going to cost you. And I think that's probably what those guys are working on. They're working on bigger deals. And so Miami needs the cap space for a tight end, a corner, a safety, a linebacker, a tackle, a guard. And so what do? Do you make a huge investment on your backup quarterback because you've got to then take away from a returner, whatever it is? I don't know. They need a couple things. So this told me that they went to third level shopping. Okay, you're not going to get another starter. You're not going to get Derek Carr. You're not going to get Jimmy Garoppolo, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, whatever starter was out there wasn't coming here to be a backup. Okay, so that's out the window. So now we go to the second level. And that second level is the Andy Dalton. That second level is the Gardner Minshew. That second level may be Taylor Heinicke. And maybe the market was a little richer for those kind of guys. So lesser teams will pay for those kind of guys. The worst teams in the league that don't have a quarterback, they're going to bring in the Taylor Heineckes. They're going to bring in the Gardner Minshews because those guys are going to legitimately have a shot to start because there's either some youngin that doesn't have a lot of experience or a veteran that's not very good and they'll be kind of battling. So those guys know that they have a shot at getting more playing time and getting more money somewhere else. So it kind of tells me that they went a little bit on the bargain basement to go shopping for their backup quarterback. So Mike White was a guy that they figure, okay, we can work with him. He's still young. He's got ability at least. Smart kid, tough kid, all those things. He's got all the intangibles. He's got all the tangibles. And so now he's got to kind of put everything together. But I'm telling you, Skylar Thompson could beat him out. Okay? Skylar Thompson could beat him out. This is going to, how we just finished the show where we just talked about Man, I can't wait for Tyreek Hill and Waddle to go up against X and Jalen, right? I mean, I'm not missing a practice. I don't know about you. This show will adjust around those practices. Okay. I am not missing a goddamn practice this year. All right. I'm going to go to all the practices that I can get to go see that because that's fun. Okay. And I'm looking forward to Tua and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm interested to watch this backup quarterback spot because if I'm Skylar Thompson, I'm sitting back going, okay, all right. Shit, they brought in Andy Dalton. That dude has started 70, 80 games in the NFL, 100 games or whatever. I don't know how many games he started. He started a long time in Cincinnati. Started a long time. He's a better quarterback right now, way ahead of Skyler mentally. He's seen everything. I'm not a big Dalton guy. As a starter, my God, no. But as a backup, he'd be fantastic. Gardner Minshew has way more experience than him, has had more success than him. It would be an uphill battle with those guys. If I'm Skylar Thompson, I'm going, bring it on. That's what I'm saying. So they also created competition there. They didn't all of a sudden say, okay, you know, two's done, and then Skylar has no hope. They actually gave him hope. So he can go out there and now is it the only thing I haven't seen is it guaranteed? Have they said anything about guarantees? Because I just got on quickly after I saw the news. See that we don't know what the guarantees are, ladies and gentlemen. He might have only guarantees this year. Okay, so then if Skylar does beat him out next year, maybe it's a small guarantee and they can take a hit and they can release him. So it may not be also. I got to find out what the guarantees are. But I mean, it's and what's it called? Oh, you said it yourself on the show. Mike White is not. Yeah, he's a backup. That's what I said. He's a backup. He's a backup. But I'm telling you, Skylar can compete. But this is a product of they cannot shop in this area right now. They can't go to Kmart. They had to go to the dollar store. Okay. Isn't the dollar store green? Jets? Mike White? Okay. So yeah, and he was number 5. So dollar store he's got the S there. They had to do that. So if you want all the bells and whistles on offense and defense and special teams and all that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, they had to cut corners in certain places. And by the way, Skylar's got some ability. So this is going to be an interesting battle between Mike White and Skylar Thompson. And if I'm Skylar, I am actually looking forward to it. But the deep story of all of this, it tells you that they're managing the cap and they're not. In the end, the season's over with Gardner Minshew and the season's over with Taylor Heineke and the season's over with Andy Dalton. If Tua's done, at one point or the other, the backup quarterback that you brought in was never going to save your season. Okay, let's just forget about it. All right. So they said, let's just have 2 young guys. Let's develop them. Let's work with them. And there you have it. So that is the news. Mike White, Pembroke Pines' own Mike White, comes home, is now a Miami Dolphin. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me see if there's any questions real quick here. Mike White is miles ahead of Skylar. Did you see how bad Skylar fell on his face in playing time? Now watch how Mike White played in his chances. I've seen Mike White make a lot of mistakes. I'm sorry. Did you not see the stats, my brother? He's thrown 6 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. What are you talking about? He makes more mistakes than he helps you in. 6 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's not a good ratio. His first year that everybody was wild, 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's not impressive, my man. I'm not sure what you're watching. Again, it's the local shit. The same thing happened with Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, Teddy's going to take Tua's job. I get it, but Skyler was a rookie last year. Okay? So this year he'll be a second-year player. He'll be in the system for the second year in a row. He'll have a lot more familiarity. He'll have a lot more confidence because he's played in the NFL. He played in a playoff game. All of these things do wonders for these kind of guys. And I would imagine that he's going to improve next year. So let's give it some time. Let's see what ends up happening. I just don't think that they could go heavy on quarterback. That's the real story out of all of this. Okay? That's the real story. Rich Zamini from ESPN writes that the Jets felt Mike White is better than Zach Wilson. Not sure that means much, but appears they didn't want to lose him. Thoughts? Oh, I mean, Zach Wilson ain't shit to me. I was never a Zach Wilson fan. I laughed at everybody that fell in love with a stupid workout. You know, that meant nothing to me. I was never a Zach guy, so I was never a believer in Zach. You know, ability don't mean shit to me. I don't care if you can throw it through the roof and you can throw it at 100 miles an hour. That doesn't mean you're a quarterback. I keep trying to explain to people that the ability is only part of it. You need a certain amount of ability, but then after that, I need you to be a quarterback. I need you to be able to have anticipatory skills. I need you to have ball placement. I need you to be able to lead receivers. You know, that's the beauty of anticipatory skills. That's the beauty of ball placement. I need to make sure that you throw a hell of a lot more touchdowns than you do interceptions. Okay? And I'm talking 4-1, 5-1 in touchdown to interception ratio. I need you to be a quarterback. Okay? I need you to know the offense inside and out. I need you to be able to ad lib a little bit out there at times. If you can't do those things, I don't give a shit if you can run 100 miles an hour. I don't care if you can throw it through the stadium. I don't care if you can throw it 80 miles an hour. I don't care about your physical ability. It don't mean anything to me. I've seen too many guys with a ton of physical ability, but they're not quarterbacks. And that's the problem that people have a hard time understanding. They just fall in love with the man's physical talents. And then they don't see that he doesn't have any touch, that he can't read defenses, that he relies on his talent in order to throw a football and not his visibility of watching the play develop. He has to wait for the break. He can't anticipate a receiver's break because he can't throw it that way. He has to physically see the guy cut out, and then he can throw his cannon. But that's not going to help you in every situation because windows are tight. Windows are small. Opportunities are even smaller. So when that happens, if you don't have anticipatory skills, you will not be able to throw it through that window. That's the one that gets intercepted, deflected, end of play, end of drive, end of game. And that's we have a hard time understanding the difference between physical abilities and quarterbacking. It's like it's a lost art. Like we just don't really focus on, okay, can the guy actually really do everything you need out there? Because that's the dude that in the end, no matter how much Lamar Jackson runs, it don't mean shit to me if he can't win games from the pocket all the time. And I'm talking about in a game where he runs 2 or 3 times for 12 yards. That like a regular quarterback that he only got a couple runs because he had to get a first down, slide, boom, boom. But he killed you from the pocket because he can throw. Can't do that. He's never done that because he has to run. So he can't be my quarterback. No matter what, I don't want a guy like that. I don't want a guy like Cam Newton. Don't want it. And I don't want a guy that's inaccurate. Don't want that either. Don't want a guy that's lazy and doesn't want to study. Don't want that either. Don't want a guy that just wants to party. Like Johnny Manziel. You ain't got shit. I don't care. He has the ability to play in the NFL. He didn't have this. So he couldn't be a quarterback. So there's leadership, there's character, there's dedication, and then there's an understanding, and then there's a skill set. And if you don't fit all the criterias, it's really hard to be a real franchise quarterback. If you only have some of those talents, you see what happens to them. They flash, they go, they show you some skill, but they don't show you enough because they don't have the whole package. And there are some that don't have it and they end up winning the whole thing, like Trent Dilfer and Nick Foles. And I get it. And even Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the worst quarterback in the history of time to win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. That guy couldn't throw 10 yards. So yeah, I get it that there are what do we call that? Outliers in everything. And that's all in life. But normal, you're going to need a guy that can do it all. And that's how you know you can win. So Mike White shows me he can't make good decisions so far. So there's nothing to talk up about Mike White. He's a second stringer battling a third stringer. He's not a guy you're like, oh yeah, no, we're in great hands. We've got Mike White. Get the F out of here. Nice kid, super tough kid, local guy, all that. Skylar Thompson will have a chance to take his job. It's up to him now. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying there isn't that much of a difference between Mike White and Skylar Thompson. I don't care what anybody tells me. You know, Skylar has as much ability as this kid. He's just as tough. So we'll see. We'll see. Skylar now will have a second year in the system. So that'll be his advantage to all of this. And we'll find out. And I'll be at training camp. I'll see every single pass. But that battle will definitely be fun. D Wolverine 305 with a little super chat love on our overtime. Thank you, sir. Oh boy, now you're going to have haters start the movement that Mike White will take to his spot. LOL. Wait and see these haters. What's up, Big O? Yeah. Yeah, you'll probably have a couple of idiots like that. Yeah, they had that. But big story out of all of this is that you can tell they didn't have the kind of money in the cap because they have other plans to go out and spend probably for what you're going to have to spend for Gardner Minshew and for Andy Dalton. When they sign, let's see their contracts. They're not going to be $8 million. And again, what are the guarantees in those $16 million? Okay. That might be funny, funny money, as they say. Might be monopoly money, might be 8 might be guaranteed this year and only 2 next year or something, or maybe only 5 or 6 this year and the rest in salary or something. Who knows? Or maybe only 3 this year in salary and in bonus, and the rest he has to kind of earn throughout the year, and maybe he could get cut. I don't know. Chris Greer doesn't really give contracts that are giving money away all the time. You have to be like an elite player for him to give you those kind of dollars. So I would say that this is a crafty $16 million. Okay. But he's got some talent. That doesn't mean he can't turn into a decent quarterback for the Dolphins and be a decent backup. Just like I think Skylar Thompson also has the ability. He's got to clean up some stuff in his game too. But both guys, they're going to be as Mike McDaniel didn't lie to you and told you that Tua was his guy, right? Just like Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel didn't lie to you that Skylar Thompson would not go unchallenged. You have it now. You have your competition now at backup quarterback. Skylar Thompson will have a shot at number 2, okay? Mike White, you have to think he has the inside track. He's got a little bit more experience, but Skylar will have a shot. People want to play here. Almost everyone we've signed has said they were hoping they can come to Miami as a preferred destination. Yep. Because they have a front office. They have a real coach. They have an owner that will spend and do whatever it takes to win. Okay? It reminds me of the Moss brothers. Same thing. It reminds me of Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu. They will do whatever it takes to win. Okay? I never hear about luxury tax I never hear about, oh, I'm limited. I never hear that from Mr. Ross. I never hear Jorge Mas say, oh, no, I can't spend. I never hear Viola and Sifu. What's that goalie going to cost us? Let's go. Who's that? Yeah, let's go. Oh, Barkov, you need a cut. Let's go. I like those kind of owners. You know what I'm saying? Anybody get what I'm saying? I like my owners to use their sports teams for fun and fantasy because the amount of money they usually have is fantasy. Don't like hearing luxury tax. Don't like hearing that. Not a fan of my billionaire owner saying that. Cool beans. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Pretty decent move so far. What do you think is next? I'm hoping for linebacker, my brother. That's what I am praying for. I am praying for a middle linebacker. There are plenty of them, and hopefully they will pick up one of them. That's what I'm hoping. Okay? That would be my hope. By the way, Welt and Rayom is the law office. You're dealing with bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. You guys know I went through it. I had some kids crash through the wall of my home, and Progressive was trying to just crush us because these insurance companies don't give a shit about you. Their adjusters work for them, not for you. Welton Rayom has their own adjusters, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and even Monroe County. So whenever you're listening to us, you need lawyers you can count on. We went through it. They got us 5 times what Progressive was offering us. And the idiot that was dealing with us, guess what? Because first my wife took over and I told her she was having no luck. I said, you're done. I gave you your chance. You know how it is when you're married. So you give the wife, she wants, oh, I can do it. And no, you can't, whatever. Don't be stupid like me. Don't allow your wife to call. You don't call. No, you call the lawyers first. You call Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646 for Welton Rayom. And you tell them that Big O sent you. And I promise you, they will take care of you. By the way, you don't even have to go in. You can call them for a free consultation, and they can take it from there, and they can help you out. So trust me, 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. And remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Big O, I need some Edge energy drink tonight for my Miami Music Week next week. Got you and Sean tickets ready to listen to the Progressive House. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for looking out. Can't wait to see the next move Greer makes. Greer constantly makes good moves to help Miami be the offseason champions. Hopefully it translates well. We need some luck. We need guys to stay healthy. That's it. So let's see what happens now. What position is next? But the beautiful part is whatever is next, we're going to be here for you because we're always here for you. This is the platform for you. Breaking news, we will cover it. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs views expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. Ownership, Management, Sponsors, or website.